I would pose a question to you, Mr. Beer, or our other panelists, about the lessons that this suggests for other areas of the Federal Government. I think it's important for us to model the behavior we want from the rest of America on Capitol Hill, but the Federal Government is the largest landlord, landowner, employer, probably the largest provider of food services in the United States. As you sort of run this all out, pretty significant potential impact, and I wondered if any of you had thoughts or observations about from these lessons about what changes we should have in Federal policy to be able to accelerate this change to capture these savings and increase customer satisfaction.
Do you want to go ahead?
I mentioned earlier in my testimony the Farm Bill is now in conference, but there are things in it that encourage and provide incentives for purchasing locally. So those are important pieces of legislation that need to be strengthened, as well as encouraging loans for farmers to really begin to produce real food. Those are two very strong examples that I think, policy-wise, that support our efforts.
I'll send you my Food and Farm Bill of Rights legislation.
Terrific.
Some of which got into the Farm Bill.
I'm sure I'll agree with it.
Yeah.
Well, I think my observation would be it isn't that hard. We're not talking about rocket science here. This isn't brain surgery or anything. We're talking about going to obtaining locally produced products and providing fresh food to our customers. I really have to put in a plug for our vendor. Restaurant Associates has been a fantastic vendor for the House. I met with the president of Restaurant Associates in November, and I told him that success to me would be that in a year people would come to Washington, D.C. and say, we have to go to the House of Representatives cafeteria because it's a green and a sustainable operation. And I think we're almost there. I mean, I think, frankly, if some more publicity like this hearing, it will be, we will be having that kind of an impact. But it really isn't that hard. It doesn't cost that much more, and you make the money back on in the long term by having greater revenues. So I guess the other thing in terms of policy, I think the suggestions about the Farm Bill are very interesting and very worthwhile. We've actually made these changes, incidentally, without the benefit of getting as many products from local providers as we would like to have because of the time of the year we're in. But I think when you see in the spring and the fall here, you will see a lot fresher products. Our apples, peaches, and other kinds of things that you'll see will be local products. As you walk into the Longworth cafeteria, for example, or Rayburn, you'll notice a little sign, and it said our local partners, and what it shows is the local farms that are supplying food that day. And I've talked to Restaurant Associates about having some of those farmers come into the restaurants and talk some about the kinds of things that they're doing and their products, so it can build a link between our cafeterias and our suppliers, the farms that we are using. So there's a lot of exciting things that we can do, and Restaurant Associates has been more than willing to participate in that.
Super. Thank you.
I would just say, and there's hardly a week that goes by when I don't receive a call about from other federal agencies around here in the Washington metropolitan area who would like to be able, they're interested in doing the composting of food residuals and trying to get on board with the bio-based products. So I think there's a huge pent-up demand among the federal agencies to do that. And as soon as there's more composting capacity for food waste in the area, I can see that going forward rather rapidly.